Welcome to the Trashcats Trashcast. I'm Richard.
I'm Steven.
And we're still here.
Somehow, some way, we survive like cockroaches.
It's been it's been a month.
Yeah.
It's been a whole month. It's been this week in particular has been fucking wild for me, but...
Dude, time's been going by so quick.
Oh, yeah. We did just record a little off schedule last session, but
yeah,
still it feels like I keep looking at the days and it's like, oh fuck, we're doing D&D again? It's like, fuck, that was 2 weeks ago? Fuck.
You guys are about to get slaughtered. Yeah. I have the world in my hands.
It's going to be fun, though. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. So, what's the latest? I don't know. We're kind of just going to explore the dark recesses of our mind palaces today.
So today I made a decision, and okay. I'm not sure how well I'm going to hold up with it, or how long I'm going to hold on to it. But I was driving, and my phone was connected to my car, but I didn't feel like turning anything on, so I sat in silence. And I've done it before every now and then, but and it's usually irritating. But I realized I want to try to do that more often. So maybe not every car ride, at least like, I don't know, maybe like just during the car. I don't know. I'm thinking about like turning off media for a little bit.
It's nice to see when work gets crazy, your whole mental state collapses.
Yeah, just a little bit. But I was so the reason I thought of this was because while I was sitting in silence, I was alone with my thoughts again. And it was cool because I was working stuff out and I was thinking a little bit more creatively, I think, than I usually do when I kind of turn off and listen to, someone else talk or listen to myself talk.
If I do a U-turn just right through this three-way intersection, I can hop that ramp onto the bridge. I never would have thought of this. That podcast was playing.
Well, that is also the downside of it, is when I'm driving and I'm thinking about things and I'm going through stuff in my head, then I'm thinking less about driving. And I did have that thing a couple times today where I realized like, oh fuck, I've been driving.
Yep.
I've been on a road with other people.
I know what you mean though. I think that's a great thing to practice because it's basically just kind of like getting retuned to what your thoughts are and stuff.
Yeah, and maybe not all the time, but just a little bit more often.
Yeah. I just can't do it driving.
Yeah, that was the one I feel like, I've already stopped listening to something while I sleep. I still do it occasionally, but most of the time I turn off my, anything before I go to sleep now.
Damn, you're getting into dangerous waters.
Yeah. It took a little while to get used to, but I realized like part of the reason I would end up staying up late is because I was paying attention to that. If I just turn it off, I can and like actually try to go to sleep. I can usually get to sleep pretty well. That's not always the case, of course, but
don't you want to hear a bedtime story?
I mean, obviously, yes.
A sexy bedtime story.
It's my own voice. It's my own podcast.
Since outside of times I was forcefully removed from society, I have never slept without a TV or audio going.
Court ordered no bedtime stories.
Oh my God. Now, I will say, some of the time on probation, one of my favorite things is to just browse the AM radio stations late at night. Oh my God, dude. Magical. Some, back in the day, Alex Jones was on, but then you have, all the alien shows. What's the big late night alien show? Coast to Coast. a.m.
I don't know that.
And then that's from like 11 to 3 a.m. And then it's followed up by trucker radio. Oh my God, dude. The best radio you could ever imagine.
All right. That might have to be some new shit. I remember when I was younger, I just realized like, what the fuck is AM radio? Everything on here is trash. Why does this even exist?
Oh, you gotta find the right. It's hard.
But then again, when I was younger, my main reason for listening to the radio was so that I could record on my little Walkman cassette player, record my favorite songs, and then.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
dude. Radio changed my life, though. Like, it makes me kind of sad that in our lifetimes, radio has like fallen apart. Like, it's a garbage media now.
Well, think about it. Think about this. Our parents' generation saw not TV maybe, but like color TV, VCR, like that laser disc, all that shit. The downfall of the VHS, and they even like recording like camcorders and shit, like all garbage now, like all the technology that they went through in the stages to get to where we are now. And it's like, it's not that we're not still progressing, but we're not making the gigantic leaps and bounds that they were in the last like these 3-4 decades.
That's true. I mean, they saw the whole rise and fall of the crack era. And what did we get? I guess
we got the opiate epidemic.
That's way less fun. It is slower advancements, but man, I
wouldn't even say slower, it's just different. It's like we have the better format now. We have the digital format. We realize like this works. And you can manipulate from that rather than like, hey, check out this fucking satellite television. Check out, fucking this film that you can record a video on.
Man, the white trash people love those satellite TVs, huh?
Oh my God.
That was all the rage.
You know what? I want to say now, I want to be on recording as saying that I have always thought that satellite TV was subpar and shitty.
Yeah.
It's like, always, and there are so many people that are like, oh, it's so much better than cable. Like, what happens when the cable goes out? What happens when it fucking rains, dude?
It never worked.
Yeah, your satellite fucking
saw a satellite TV worked.
Yeah, I never saw a satellite TV.
Not once in my life. Anyone who ever showed me their satellite TV, it never worked. Not once.
Remember when plasma was a big deal? Plasma TVs?
Oh, yeah.
It just sounded cool. That was it.
Yeah, that's
the whole
pure
TV
gimmick.
The whole TV marketing thing is fucking ridiculous. Because then, like, now everyone has HD TVs, and they're like, I don't know, this one's got 3D. Oh, you guys don't like that? Okay, this one's curved.
Ultra HD HK.
Yeah, it's got more Ks than you can see in real life.
Oh man,
this is realer than real.
The old days of being a kid with a little radio Walkman. I'd stay up late at night, like hiding under the covers, and like I found the world through radio. I would probably want to be like a disc jockey in the 80s. You know what I mean?
That shit was cool. It's like, oh man, I just sit in a studio and play music all day.
Smoke weed and listen to terrible music.
Yeah. And then you realize like, oh fuck, they're just playing like the same 15 songs on repeat.
Oh my God. The alien shows were fun, but it was basically like a call center for mentally ill people. That's what was really fun about it. All the alien stuff was garbage, but to hear the craziest crazy people coast to coast across America call in about their alien hallucinations is pretty awesome.
Let me tell you, we used to have one of the places I worked at, we listened to Dear Delilah. It was kind of a talk show that was lasted over the course of like 3 hours or something, but it was this woman and she'd take in callers or voicemails or whatever, and it would be like, it was straight out of like Sleepless in Seattle type shit where people would call in and they talk about like their relationship issues or like, telling people like, oh, keep your chin up, you'll find love and, whatever. And it was like really, wholesome and sweet, but it was like me and these, I'm like 17 and there's, these other like, 20 to 30 something year olds listening to this, radio show while we're all like in the deep weeds at work and like, oh, Delilah, you're so sweet.
Dude, I love it. I'm about it. Those shows are great. I learned about sex from AM. I'm so glad
it wasn't from that woman on the early morning Instagram or early morning infomercials.
Yeah, her, and then she did a show with Dr. Drew for a while.
Yeah, that's right.
That was the shit.
God damn it, what was her name?
I don't know, but she was the first woman I ever heard utter the words anal beads. I respect that 80-year-old woman.
Goddamn right. Hey, man, she didn't fuck around. She knew what was up.
She was hardcore.
Damn right.
Do you remember when Celebrity Rehab shows?
Oh, yeah. Oh, God.
That shit was pretty borderline unethical.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
If not fully. But there was a lot of... I don't know, resistance to that. And it's weird because at the time, I still think part of it, as shitty that is to the celebrities on the show, it actually, I think, was a good thing for culture and stigma. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it shouldn't have had to be that, but it was one of the first things that, I don't know, talked about drug addiction or alcoholism. Kind of interesting.
I used to think of all the lineups of goofy ass shows that VH1 used to have of like, here's a reality show where we took a bunch of washed up celebrities and put them in a house together and made them do challenges.
Flavor of Love?
Yeah, Flavor of Love. That went on for so many seasons.
Oh, I know. The Bret Michaels one.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I went back and watched every episode of both of those shows like 4 years ago. And I think it might have been 5 years ago, but I was in the middle of a relapse and I was like, you know what? This would be a wonderful time to get caught up on Flavor of Love.
I'm gonna go ahead and fuck up my life. I might as well head first.
Like, this guy, Bret Michaels, is crazy. They're all dating him on one tour bus? This is wild.
There's one guy that has like a truck. It's like an F-150 kind of truck, and he's got it like a bed in the back and like a big TV and like, a little cooking setup and shit. So he's like, he pulls up in the neighborhoods and like parks his truck and like sleeps in different neighborhoods. Like he like lives in it. Like,
it's so creepy though too.
It's so fucking weird, but it's like, you can sleep in the back of a Walmart in a Walmart parking lot. That's a fun hack. Anybody can you can pull over and sleep in a Walmart parking lot. They won't call you and tell you or whatever.
That depends, man.
If you do it more than like a 1 or 2 nights in a row, then they can't. Then they will. Huh. Like, you can't live in the Walmart parking lot, but if you have to pull over and like sleep there, like they reserve that like for like truckers and people that are driving on the road too much because they're all over the fucking place. You
can't do that on the west side Cincy one though.
Oh, why would you?
Yeah, I remember not that Walmart, but a different one. There was the story of the guys busted cooking meth in the Walgreens parking lot or Walmart, and then there was another one. A woman got all the supplies in the store to do a shake bottle meth in the bathroom, and it popped, and she got caught cooking meth with supplies in the Walmart. But
that's in the West Side Walmart.
Yeah, it was a different one. But the West Side Walmart was in the top 10 most stolen from Walmarts in the country. For like our whole lives, basically. Like, I think it's still towards the top, but you probably haven't been there recently. But the parking lot has those cop towers with flashing red and blue lights at all times, where they capture the noise of gunshots and have loudspeakers attached. It feels like you're in like authoritarian state, like you're in like a Chinese like dictatorship. Like there's the new police district they put in the parking lot so they could get a hold on all the violence, and then they put up these towers that are, I forget the name of them, that capture the gunshot sounds and have megaphones and shit, and they scan your license plate, and they line the whole parking lot. Like it
that's fucking nuts. I haven't been to that Walmart in nearly 20 years.
Damn.
It's literally, so like, okay, maybe not that long, maybe like 15 years, but still, it wasn't since I lived like closer to it. Because even when I was able to drive, I knew, fuck that Walmart.
Well, it was nice though. You could walk in and grab anything you want, walk right out.
Yeah, like, exactly.
The staff were told, like, even, there's all these news stories that are bullshit about that now, but like 20 years ago, they were telling those employees not to do anything. So I knew dudes that their whole like grift was just to walk in, grab TVs, and run out. And they would hit 3 Walmarts every week, sell the TVs for cash, and that was their whole thing.
That's fucking wild.
It's pretty funny to see a dude run out of Walmart with a big ass plasma.
With a TV. It's the problem with the flat screen TV is, they're a lot more convenient. They look really nice, but a lot easier to steal than an old CRT.
Yeah. The other one was and it's still kind of a thing, but Home Depot. Like if you're a junkie, you pick up bigger items, but then you get those drill bit packs, because drill bits are so small. But to somebody who often will pay for stolen shit, they still retain value.
Oh, absolutely.
So you can like stick 100 drill bits in like a little bag of some like potting soil or something. You know what I mean? Like, go shop around and just load drill bits into stuff and walk out with $500 worth of drill bits. And so goofy though.
Them shit's getting kind of fucking expensive, man.
Yeah.
You said someone will buy them.
Somebody will buy them at like 1/10 of the value.
Yeah. Fucking wild shit.
So what?
Fucking work this week has been. I guess to circle back to what I started with, the sitting in silence had made me consider. It made me reflect on my week a little bit more, and the last couple months and whatever of my life or whatever. But I realized I just kept thinking of these different customers. And 2 weeks ago, I had the first ever customer return or try to like say they didn't like one of our smoothies. The first time ever.
Okay.
Came back and they said they didn't like it. The thing was, they had made a custom smoothie. They didn't go off the menu. They made their own, and then they said they didn't like it.
I'd like to return this. I have terrible taste.
This woman said she had she said she just wanted peach and coconut milk, and we said okay. I said, would you like some honey with that? I said, really, the peaches, they're not as sweet as you might think they are. Just by themselves, they can get a little tart. And she said, no, I don't want any extra sugars. So we made her peach and coconut smoothie, and it sucked. Because I even tasted it afterward. It wasn't good. And then she walked away, and then she came back and she said, can I get some honey in this? And it's like, we can't take it back. We have to make you a whole new one, because we can't take it back and put it in our blender. The alternative option is we just pour some honey in and like have her stir it in.
Is she not?
But it like doesn't really mix up like that.
But was that unacceptable to her?
Well, the person that was on our team that decided to take care of it decided to make her a new one.
That's without charging.
Yeah,
that's really.
Well, we took the other one. We took the other one back,
drank it right back up, poured it into the next smoothie for the next customer.
Yeah. But that was the first time that ever happened, and it's like, I don't know, if you're gonna go off menu.
Yeah, that's. That's at your own peril.
Yeah, that makes me super fucking mad.
Now, why are you thinking about that days later?
But just because I'd never had it before, it never happened, and then the process in which it was handled, like I would have just said, "Here, put some honey on it,"
yeah,
and then go about your day. And that is something I think about food cost and shit like that. Like, you know, it's a stupid thing for me to think about work outside of work, but I do
a lot.
Yeah, I do it a lot.
Is part of it you feel like not necessarily you, but the whole process was too kind to her, like too accommodating? Is that the part?
Not really. I mean, kind of. The thing is, like, the amount of food cost still does not equal the amount that she paid. Like, we still made a profit on that.
Well, that's impressive.
And then the customer left happy, so it should be fine. What bothers me mostly is the entitlement that people feel to come into a place of business and say, I know that this is the way that you do things, and I know that you've made a recommendation on the way, like I told you that I want something done differently. And instead of saying no, you said, okay, but might I suggest this because that's going to be bad. And then they still say, no, I know best. Not you, the person who does this for a living. I know what I want.
Right. See, I feel like
that audacity makes me mad.
I feel like it would have been fair game to tell her to fuck right off.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
So that was the first time that had ever happened, that someone came back and said, hey, actually, I don't like this the way it is. And it was a custom thing. So we had, like, the next weekend, we had somebody at one of the festivals we were at on the food truck. This woman came up and she said, can I have this smoothie? The one, like one of our recipe smoothies. Can I have that without the honey? I'm diabetic. It's like, sure, we can do that.
Diabetes is a pretty funny disease, right? Like, did you start laughing right away, or did you wait until she left?
I waited until she wasn't looking. Gotcha. But we were like, oh yeah, sure, we can do that. And we made it for her, and it was the fact that she made this big deal about, I can't have any honey in it. And we were like, you know, of course it's got whole fruit. Like, we don't use any added sugars or anything. And she was like, good. Just no honey. I can't have it. I'm diabetic. Kept saying it. It's like, all right, we get it. Cool. So we like cleaned out the blender to make sure there wasn't any like residue in it. And then we made her this smoothie without honey and then gave it to her. And at this festival, we are slammed. We have a long ass, constant line of customers. And she comes back and she says, this isn't sweet enough. Can you put some honey in it?
She didn't know sugars and honey.
She cut the line so that she could come back and ask for us to make her a new one. And it's like, yeah, it's like, sure. Well, I'll take that and I have to throw this away now. So I have to make you a new one. It's going to be a minute.
I never once in my life have returned food. That's a lot. Unless they like destroyed it. There's no way I ever could get a smoothie and be like, it's not sweet enough. My sweet little belly isn't getting all the sweetness. Yeah. I can't imagine being an adult and saying this smoothie isn't sweet enough.
After telling us I'm diabetic, I can't have sugar. I can't have.
She doesn't know sugars and honey.
Well, I don't know if that's the case or not.
She's
I think she told us, no, don't put honey in it because I can't have it because I'm diabetic. I think I still think that she's used to like a tropical smoothie cafe where it's just syrup and fucking ice and shit.
You should have given her a syringe full of honey and told her to do it all at once.
Yeah.
Got one syringe full of honey, one full of
Would you like to play a game? Fucking, but that's the, I don't know. It's just, it's so fucking entitled of people. I don't get. So I have returned food once, and it was at a restaurant that I worked at. Well, I had used to work there, and then I went somewhere else, but I came back and I brought my family in for dinner one night, and we're all sitting there, and we got, we had a big dinner and all this shit, and then we had, I got a couple things off the dessert menu, and we figured we'll just split it all up. They brought out these 3 plates, and a couple of them were good. One of them, the portion was so small, and it was still like, okay, I get it. It's all vegan. Like I know they're back there and they're making good shit. They're doing creative shit. I knew that the guy that was running pastry back there, and most of his shit was really good. And we take a bite of it, and it was just bland and shitty and dry. And it was like, so I talked to the waitress, and I was like, hey, can you actually tell them that this sucks? Like, I'm not trying to be a dick. Like, they need to know, like, this product isn't good.
They know you're a chef.
Yeah. I'm not.
You're not complaining about the food cost. You're complaining, like, hey, they should know they're putting out terrible.
Right. And I gave it to them, like, we're not going to eat this. Like, I'll just tell you now, like, I'm not going to.
Wouldn't eat it for free.
Like, yeah, exactly. We don't want it. And then, whatever, they didn't charge me for it. And then later on,
which is nice.
I came back, and they were like, oh man, Rich sent back food last week. Like, whoa, man, that's pretty fucked up. And I was like, no, that dessert was fucked up. That dessert sucks.
And you're fired.
It was like a rhubarb cake or some shit. It was like, ugh, this is not good.
All right, what kind of donkey eats rhubarb? That's what I want.
Rhubarb's not bad. You put it with like other fruit and shit. If you
mask it with enough strawberry.
Yeah. That's true.
Sure.
True. But there's a lot of nutritional benefits that you don't taste it much when you put it with other shit. Ugh. It wasn't the rhubarb that made it suck.
I'd rather be diabetic than eat a rhubarb. Dude, I get kind of worried.
Imagine being faced with that decision.
Well, I'll take the type 2
God said you could you're either going to eat this rhubarb or you're going to have diabetes. You're going to have to take an insulin shot every day.
Oh, man. Yeah, it runs in my family, too. And I eat a lot of sugar. I have holes in all my teeth from pure sugar. Especially when I was first getting sober, I eat ice cream almost every night. Mm-hmm. At least 4 nights a week. And not a small bowl. Like at least a pint every 5 nights of the week. And when I was first getting sober, I would eat a half-pound bag of Sour Patch Kids every night. Like, I can eat endless sugar. And it affects me.
I'm surprised you don't have, crazy acne.
I do sometimes, but not too bad. I think it balances out. Like, I feel like I use a ton of energy, and I don't eat a ton of food. So if I'm just eating sugar and drinking energy drinks, and then I'm working out a lot, I feel like it burns off pretty quick.
Dude, if I have any amount, especially if I have a full pint of ice cream, I'm gonna have a pimple the next day.
What?
I get acne from sugar really bad.
See, I think it just doesn't.
That's the direct correlation that I have seen. If I don't have, I can go for months without eating ice cream.
Really?
Without eating candy, fucking cakes and shit. If I have any fucking dessert shit, within the week, I'm gonna get a fucking pimple.
See, that's what living vegan did to you. It fucked your constitution.
Yep, fucking ruined me.
See, I think for me, if I eat meat or greasy shit, I like.
Oh yeah, pizza will do it.
Pizza doesn't get me either. If I eat
well, I buy garbage pizza.
I like to eat garbage.
That greasy, that fucking, you gotta mop it up a little bit.
But that doesn't bother me though. It's pure meat or hamburgers and steak, that kind of red meat makes me sick. I eat it sometimes, but not very much because it fucks up my stomach, my skin. I feel like shit after I eat greasy meat. Greasy meat.
Greasy meat. I have my main thing with meat's not really usually the bad thing. But I was gonna say pizza does it the worst is the fucking acid reflux.
See, I've never had acid reflux.
Oh, fucking Christ, it sucks so bad. When it's like regular acid reflux, it's like, it sucks. Like regular heartburn, like it sucks. I get it really bad to the point where I think I might have told you about this. For a good couple months, I was having acid reflux so bad that I would spend the entire night like awake, throwing up bile. Like I couldn't stop throwing up because it was like so bad, and it just hurt and like burnt my esophagus up.
Dude, that's GERD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got that GERD, boy.
Bro, that's terrible.
Yeah. And we didn't realize like what's causing it. And like we were like, do I have a fucking stomach ulcer? Like what's going on?
Wasn't it allergy?
I got like an endoscopy done. They put a fucking camera down my throat, and like I got like, you know, all these scans done and like blood work and shit. And then for them to come back and say like, oh, we couldn't find anything.
They never do.
And they were like, the other option is like, maybe it's stress. And then I realized like, oh, it was my ex-girlfriend. And then I broke up with her and everything was fine.
Damn.
I stopped having the acid reflux after I ended that relationship.
Dude, stress is so fucking real.
Yeah.
It destroys everything. It's like your body is actually producing stomach acid to kill you. So you don't get out of bed the next day. It's like, please
stop moving.
Yeah, stay home. Yeah.
You're killing yourself.
That's fucked.
If you don't stop killing yourself, we'll do it for you.
See, I never got that acid reflux, but I had up until like the last few years, every morning I would wake up sick. Like most of the time I wouldn't throw up, but it was like work to not throw up. Like I couldn't eat till dinner or whatever. Like I would just wake up so fucking nauseous, anxious, depressed or whatever. I would just feel so sick. But I never got the like acid part or whatever.
Yeah, guys, it sucks. If I eat pizza, it's got to be before.
Have you always been this way? You don't have an iron stomach?
No, not at all. My stomach is garbage.
I could
since I was like
a cup of sriracha. I could literally drink a cup of sriracha right now and I'd be fine.
Spicy food I can do pretty fine. It's greasy shit. Breads.
What about
a
Skittles and pizza grease smoothie?
I mean, we'll have to give it a shot. Sour Skittles or regular?
They don't make sour Skittles anymore.
What?
It's a loss.
Those were the best Skittles.
Loss of the culture, you know?
Loss of the culture.
What does the world come to? Man,
do they at least still make the tropical flavored Skittles?
I believe so. Man, those sour ones
were bomb.
Just like gave your tongue blisters too.
Yeah, they did. They were brutal.
Eat a half-pound bag of those and you had to heal up for a week.
Did you try to eat those without chewing them?
Just blood all over your mouth. Just eating sour Skittles and bleeding everywhere.
That was a vibe, man. Fucking sour Skittles and Andy Cap's hot fries.
Oh, yeah. I still eat those. No one else does, but I feel pretty gangster every time.
They still fucking make those. Those are old school.
I feel pretty gangster every time I crack open
everybody's
a bag
all on
fries.
some Takis and shit now, but man, it was fucking Andy Caps. That's that old shit. Remember thinking those were spicy.
I miss cartoned milk. I anytime I want to drink milk, I want it to be out of an organic, papery origami box that could decay at any time.
Have you ever had bag milk?
It's disgusting. Yeah,
really?
It's whatever, but it just looks gross. It just looks.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't look good.
It looks
for
like
sure.
an udder, like you ripped an udder. The inside.
That's where milk comes from.
Yeah, udders are disgusting.
So usually what you do is you take, if you get it like, you know, from like the grocery store bag milk, you take the entire bag and they sell like pitchers that you put the bag into and then you cut the corner of it and pores like, regular.
What's the fucking point? Is it just cheaper? Is it like powder?
Cheaper,
milk?
saves on plastic.
I guess.
When we were in elementary school, my school used to have bag milk instead of carton milk. And it wasn't like it stood in any way. It was literally, it looked like you took a Ziploc sandwich bag and put milk in it and then sealed it up real good.
God.
And then to drink out of it, they just had a straw with a point on it, and you had to stab it real quick.
That must have been really terrible, because if you popped your milk bag and it spilled on your cardboard shoes, you'd be all soggy for the rest of the day and have to walk barefoot.
It would go everywhere. And there's multiple milks that got, like either you stab through all the way too hard, or you stab it wrong and it like spills all over the fucking table that way.
All right, here's the question.
But what that did teach an entire generation of kids to do at that school was how to accurately puncture something with a Capri Sun straw. You knew like you have to hold it at the right, get your fingers in the right position, and then like with great force and intention poke through it. And that, I feel like that's a life lesson.
I thought you were going to say that we all learned how to pierce udders, but
I mean, you could pierce anything with that fucking Capri Sun straw now. You could stab somebody in the neck. It's over with.
All right, 2 questions. What's the maximum amount of milk you can drink? Did you ever do the milk challenges?
No, I did watch somebody try it.
I have got closer than any man I have ever seen.
Yeah?
I got within an inch at the bottom. Like you have 10 minutes to drink a gallon of milk?
No, it's like an hour.
Is it an hour? I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I got within a half inch, and then I threw up milk for hours everywhere.
Yeah. You just fucking throw it all right back.
But I was so close. I mean, I drink so much cow water anyway.
You're never going to fit that much.
I think I could do it.
All right.
100 episode celebration.
How much milk you got on you right now?
I only have half a gal, but it goes bad tomorrow. But I'm willing to give it a shot.
What's the other one? Is 6 saltines in under a minute?
Yeah, something like that. I never got as close on that one, but the milk challenge, I was made to beat that one.
That one, to the saltines one, I think I could do.
I think that's just all a conspiracy by Big Ritz.
By Big Ritz?
Yeah, they played
Fuck
us
Ritz.
in that.
Zest is the saltine of choice.
No.
Ritz isn't a saltine. Ritz is like a buttery cracker.
Yeah, I don't want a saltine.
I'm talking about a square saltine cracker.
Why would I want that if I could have a butter
Because
cracker?
that's the fucking challenge, Steven.
It's just crunchy and dry.
Of course I could deep throat a whole sleeve of Ritz. That's not the point.
I do every night. All right. How many things?
Body by Ritz.
How many things have you pierced? Like people. Have you pierced people?
Actually.
A cracker and a piercing? Get one free cracker after every piercing from Ricky.
I did try to help my mom open up one of her ear piercings when I was younger, but I
didn't.
First of all,
didn't that happen last time I was in town?
Oh, we might have. Yeah,
she got it herself.
Yeah.
But she lost her hearing, I think. I just had deja vu. So.
I couldn't do it because we were using a sewing needle. That was the other thing, and I couldn't get like a grip on it to like force it through. Yeah, that was pretty brutal. I was just like butchering my mom's earlobe.
Dude, I just had so many weird memories come back. I've put in a lot of mom's ear jewelry. I can think of at least 3 moms. That's funny because I had so many piercings. They're like, my ears.
He knows what to do.
It was somebody else at a wedding. That's what I don't think it was last time I was in town. I was at a wedding and someone's mom's earring fell out. But I'm flashing back to a lot of mom's earrings right now.
Yeah, this one happened. I was, I think I was still in high school. we were still in high school. Yeah, this was a while ago. I'm trying to think if there's any more. I feel like there's got to be more on that list. I've never stabbed anyone.
Oh, you're not supposed to. Yeah. I did.
Those would stick out in my memory.
I got a couple piercing stories.
Those would both stick out in my memory, and I wouldn't tell you about them on the podcast.
It might have been the second or third time, but one of the first times I pierced someone else, I was doing their lip, and they kind of moved.
This was the first time you'd ever pierced someone else.
Maybe not the first, but within the first 3. And I fucked it up. I was really high, and it came out like upper lip near their nose.
It was supposed to be lower lip, but it was
different. But I've done most of my own. But my septum, that was one I was so proud of, because that's a shitty one to do yourself. It really fucking hurts.
Yeah, it seems like it fucking sucks.
Because I was young too, so I didn't know the correct spots. Like, I had done it on other people, but doing it on myself, it was hard to hold everything right. So you're supposed to go right under the cartilage, and like right now my nose is gauged to a 0. And you can feel in my nose, I just went through the cartilage.
Oh.
So there's just a big chunk in my cartilage. You can feel the bottom. There's just a floating piece of cartilage.
Oh.
And I was so proud of that.
Disgusting.
But for like 2 years, because I was gauging it quick, like if I got bumped in the nose or cold wind, I was crying. Like it was so so painful. Your molars would hurt for like weeks at a time. But my favorite piercing was at SCPA during lunch. We did it in someone's car. So they parked on a side street downtown, and I had to pay Big Mama, of course, what would you even call her, security guard?
Yeah.
So you have to pay,
kind of.
Yeah, you have to pay her in cigarettes to leave recess early. She was pretty cool, but you had to pay Big Mama. So we go to our buddy's car, and I had two or 3 lip piercings, but we were going to do another 2. And we had, I think, a safety pin and a cigarettes and a lighter. So we're smoking cigarettes and torching the safety pin, but we don't have like a backing to put the needle, like, so it doesn't go straight into your gums. You need
cigarette butt.
Something. Well, we thought we were pretty clever. We used a lemon air freshener. So I have a lemon air freshener in my mouth, a cigarette hanging in the corner, and a safety pin. And I got 2.
Couldn't be bothered to stop smoking a cigarette.
And those piercings turned out great too.
How many did you have in your lips at one point?
At least 7. It's either 7 or 9, but I can't remember because there's 9 holes on my lip still.
There's so fucking many.
Yeah, it was a lot.
I remember when they would droop when you had them for a while.
Well, I got jumped really bad. I got really fucked up in a fight, and like 4 of them got ripped out, so they were hanging by like a centimeter of skin, like at the end of my lip. So that's why they started drooping, because they're all ripped, and my nose was broke. It was really bad. But when I took them all out, I was super fucked up, and I felt like I was in Saw. Like I grabbed pliers, and it felt like the countdown was going, and I had to get them all out before the bomb explodes. That was a weird transformation when I started taking shit out too.
Yeah, that was the. I always thought it was funny. I would show people, like new people I met, especially when I moved to Florida. Like I talk about my buddy Steven, and then usually I would say like, oh, he's like super sweet guy, like really nice guy, and then
very fucked.
I'd show him a picture. You would come up and they'd be like, oh yeah, this is Steven. And you have like the big fucking gauged out fucking septum and the your bridge piercing and shit. And like
I had 21 to 23 in my face.
That's fuck. Yeah, it was fucking obnoxious.
It was so obnoxious.
It looked cool, but it was fucking obnoxious.
Oh, so obnoxious. I never would have done it that way again. But it was fun. I mean, I enjoyed doing it, but it felt good to take a lot of that shit out. But I mean, I kept a bunch, but I too many is a bad aesthetic.
Yeah.
But back then it was different too. Like, it's cool. I feel like to have dyed hair, be pierced, like tattoos are so normal. And even in our life, that was changing, but like back when my years were gauged, that was still weird. And to have that many like facial piercings and tattoos and shit was like still pretty wild.
Yeah,
it's good. It's changed.
Counted today. I went to a corporate lunch, so it was like this big corporation, and I counted the first 3 customers. All had dyed hair, like green, blue, and then the other one was like a teal. And then I saw somebody else walk by with like pink hair, and I was like, I'm going to start counting how many people I see. And it was like 7 or 8 in like the couple hours I was there that had like dyed, crazy, like not like natural colored hair. And it was like, it's super cool to think like, okay, these people work in corporate America and they're, just rocking that shit. Like, I feel like it's really cool to see. I feel like growing up, I felt like that was like something that we were given access to because we went to an art school, and then, we wouldn't have that again.
All right. So I got that brought me on to one of my recent pet peeves. I have 2 things about dyed hair. First, all right, I'm curious if you feel the same way. I really dislike when someone has just a tiny patch of color. That bothers me. Unless it's like really cool.
It's a goofy thing to let bother you.
It bothers me. It does. Like, not really.
Do you think like an aesthetic thing, or
it just feels lame? Because anytime I've ever known a person doing that, it's like their work doesn't let them. They don't want to be like stand out too much, so they do like a little bit. And that always, I'm a all in or all out person, so I always feel like, come on, like if everyone lived like you, this world would be over. It's just a wasteland. All right, but here's the other one. I really don't like this one. It's been a pet peeve for me. Have you heard this blue hair insult thing?
No.
You will. I've seen it in the newspaper recently, but it's this whole thing of like,
do you read the newspaper?
Very rarely, but the whole
you're trying to sneak in some quick Sudoku and you just catch some glances to some headlines.
But there's this whole insult that's really big in the debate sphere and like internet culture where it's like you're a blue-haired. They call you a blue-haired person or a blue-haired lib or libtard, whatever. But it's this whole insult that just gets boiled down to you're a blue hair, whatever. And it's talked about like college kids, social justice warriors, often is used like to misalign queer people. Like it's just anyone who is alternative or thinks on their own at all. Like, and their point of view is like, you don't think different at all. You're, just falling in line with the new norm or whatever. Like Joe Rogan's been using it a lot lately. Ben Shapiro, Peterson, like they all have this thing where like all these blue-haired college kids with their, and to me it's the most like frustrating but like stupidest insult ever. But it's the new thing right now. It's in.
That's so dumb.
So dumb. Because you're making, especially like you think of like a Rogan or somebody who's like pro-pot, was always like, until now, he was the counterculture in a lot of ways. You're friends with all these old people. Like, now you're just misaligning anyone who is alternative in their hair color or gender to being a blue-haired person. Like, that's so fucking dumb.
Yeah, that's some boomer shit.
Yeah.
That's so regressive too. When you think of like all of the progression that came from
blue hair.
Yeah, that aesthetic, that kind of, like punk kind of just like to defy the norms kind of thing, to make it like it should be something that's casual and
you can be out of business.
Chill. Yeah,
and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, it should be very normal. There's nothing wrong or absurd or obscene about it. It's harmless.
Yeah, all those
a harmless method of expression, just like clothing and shit. And it's like there's no to turn that into a thing that, especially with politics and shit, but like to turn that into a thing that defines people in a way is so, and especially to say like, oh, you're not original, everyone else is doing it too. And it's like, you're missing the point entirely.
Yeah, like, even though I find it kind of annoying to dye just a little bit of your hair, like, all those people who did that helped break these stigmas and molds and shit. Like, I don't know, it just seems so... I think a lot of dyed hair stuff is pretty cringe. Like, I can see why an older, especially person who doesn't agree with politics I can see why they could find it like cringe or weird to them, but I can't imagine being like, oh, I don't like their hairstyle, they're obviously a piece of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just goofy.
There is one hairstyle that I'm not fond of, and I've seen it enough times and I know that there's like fucking thing. I guess a style for it.
Okay.
You ever seen somebody that's got a ponytail, but the entire rest of their head is shaved?
Yes.
So like just around the ponytail. It's just a small string of ponytail, and like I get it, it's a punk thing. It's against the norm.
Yeah.
I get it. Aesthetically, it's like, why? That's not the right word. It's just like an anger of like the balance is wrong.
Yeah, and I feel like it's only acceptable for certain stuff. But to I think our collective point, I think it's fine to feel that way. Like, we all have different tastes.
We all have different aesthetics, and yeah, exactly.
But it was almost like the whole like man bun thing, where like they're like where it's just like fucking like boomers or like jockish dudes like making fun of man buns for 5 years, and now we have like the Karen thing. Like, it's so fucking dumb. It's so dumb.
You know what's fucking stupid is I had long hair for a long time.
Yeah.
And I was rocking a man bun right before that started happening. And it's like during it as well, but like because I'd have to go to work, and I'd work in kitchens and shit at the time, and I'd gotten to a place where I could just I still had like the long hair down on like my neck. It wasn't like just pull it all up on the top, but I'd have the top part of my hair I'd pull back and into a man bun on top to keep it out of my eyes while I work. And I thought it was a good look. I don't know. I didn't see anything wrong with it, and that everyone starts making all this shit about it, and it's like, I don't understand it. It's also a thing with like sleeve tattoos. You ever seen the meme and it's like sleeve tattoo used to mean that you were like hardcore, or you're like a biker or something, and now it means that you're a chef who probably makes a good pork belly with balsamic drizzle. Like that one's actually kind of true.
Partially, but yeah, it depends on the quality. If it's a nice sleeve, it's a sign of something. Of money, because shit's expensive.
Yeah. If it's just all black and blue fucking prison tattoos, then they're probably still dangerous.
Man, Man, so many weird little, just like social signaling. Like, man, it feels so good for me and my how my mind is, mental health, whatever, to not have to be in public anymore is so fucking good.
Nice.
It's so good for me, dude. I'm kind of like monitoring it now because I go out so rarely that when I do, I'm often like more on edge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I have to be like kind of aware of that. But like so many of those just like random things of being like a poor person going to and from work, all the random people you have to interact with or on errands, like all that shit, like affected my mental state so much more than I realized too. Like just having to deal with shitty people who want to accost you for blue hair or man buns.
Yeah.
You know, like even despite what a person's taste would be, I can't imagine like bothering strangers about how they look. It's so,
yeah.
It's like returning a smoothie.
Even to compliment them.
Yeah, like get the.
I've thought about that before. Of like, because I've definitely like if they're a customer and they come up to the window and we've already engaged in the, what can I get you today? Yada yada yada, and then you can also say like you know like that's a really dope hat, or like that's a like you have a dope aesthetic. That's a fun compliment to give people.
Are you against that?
No, I'm into it when it's like we've already had the back and forth.
Sure.
But if it's like I'm in public and I see somebody, I'm like, oh, that person looks rad as fuck. I'm not going to stop them and tell them because that seems weird to me.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, it has to. Yeah,
it has to be. There has to be something else there that opens the conversation.
Yeah, or else it's even if it's actually nice and genuine, it's still borderline creepy if you're like, hey, I like your shirt.
The only times that I would deviate from that if there's something like a deep cut reference, like they have like like somebody called me out of the grocery store the other day because I have a mist enamel pin on my jacket, and they were like, oh, that pin's really dope. And I was like, yeah, and I like it's the book, and you can actually open up the pen, like the book. And I was like, oh yeah, and they were like, oh, that's fucking sick. And I was like, hell yeah, that's
something where you expect that they are going to be excited that you recognized it.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely. That's a weird, cool bonding experience because you're like, we're never going to see each other again, and we were able to acknowledge in passing that something about us like resonates with this other weird thing that most people don't know about or aren't into. Yeah. And that's cool. Like I like those kind of moments.
This is one of the ways actually, the same pen I bonded with my coworker over. She pointed out and she was like, oh, Miss, I really like that game. I was like, get the fuck out of here. You like Miss, cause she's like a normal person.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, that's fucking cool. And then one day I was coming in from work and I saw she had in her car window had a Star Trek fucking thing hanging from her rear view mirror, and it had Captain Picard on one side and Captain Kirk on the other side. And I came in like, I saw your little Star Trek thing in your car, and she's like, oh yeah, I really like it. I was like, fucking nerd.
It is weird though, and really cool when in those moments for like a second, I don't know, I get this, where it's like you realize how many people are in the world, and you're like, holy shit, maybe there's a lot more people that identify with similar things as I do, or a lot more people that I would get along with or think these weird thoughts or whatever, like, yeah, it's crazy how, like, you think of the internet, like how fucking huge the internet is, and think about the percentage of the world that is not either actively on the internet, able to access it at all, or even or they're on the internet, but not in the worlds we habitate or whatever.
Yeah.
There's so many.
The scary part the scary part is when you also start to think of the Venn diagram of like, so these people are also into something that I'm into. What else are they into?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, maybe it's some not so cool shit.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like some not so cool to society and people shit. And like, oh, well, that kind of ruins. Does that ruin this thing for me? No, I just can't talk to people about it.
Yeah, that's a big thing in black metal communities.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Really.
that's huge.
Because
that's a prime example of that.
Like my favorite like subgenre is the suicidal black metal stuff, and there's more than one band, but one band in particular where he would tell his fans to kill themselves, and he was in prison for 20 years or whatever, but he got out and he's a proud white supremacist. And
I was gonna say there's a lot of like fucking white nationalist shit in metal,
a lot, and it sucks because you can like either bond with somebody over music and not know they think this crazy shit. You're like, I just like this art. I don't want to.
Yeah. I think the music sounds good.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
That's really interesting, though, the Venn diagram of likes or dislikes with a large amount of strangers and where you kind of overlap or diverge from other people with.
It's a fun little thought experiment.
Yeah, speaking of thought experiments, when I'm not going to offer one. When I want to do a psychology deep dive next, and we had talked a little bit about the mushrooms growing from our brain and what kind of directions. Do you have any ideas?
I super don't.
I want to do something like what I liked about the Cannibal Cop is how it was challenging, like our existentialism. I like the ones where we kind of have to push what we believe. Like we have a intuition on how we feel about an idea, but putting it into words is a lot more difficult and forces you to have to clarify some beliefs or thoughts.
Yeah. I agree. Those episodes usually turn out really good. Yeah, I don't have anything at the, that I can think of at the moment, but I'm sure we'll figure something out for that.
Yeah, I was just seeing if anything pops up, but
let us know if you have any ideas if you're listening to this.
No one listens.
We probably won't take your suggestion, but
no, fuck them. Trashcats are free thinkers. We don't need any trashy cat people to tell us what to do, and we're not going to tell them what to do either.
Can I complain about another customer thing?
Sure.
So this is another one that happens a lot, actually. Like way more than it should. I guess not a lot, just way more than it should. I'll be on the truck and I'll say, "Hey, how you doing today?" And they're like, "Oh, good." And then, you do your thing, and then you say, "What can I get you started with?" And then they point. So the menu is on the side of the truck, the outside of the truck. I'm inside the truck. Okay. And they go up and they point to it. I think I'm going to get this one. And even I stretch, I have like a prep table in front of me. I can't, I'm not against the window. I got to climb up on the prep table and lean out. And I still can't really see what they're pointing at.
It would be way funnier.
What?
Is if hold on, let me check it out. And you close up the truck, close the metal, the window and everything, lock up, go outside, take a peek, and then have to unlock the truck, make a whole thing of it.
I almost had to do that because usually after I do that, they'll read off what it is.
Right.
And I think so. A couple of the things, there's a couple of them that are acai.
Yeah, it's anxiety.
And I get it's hard to pronounce and
Usei?
But I always make a joke and I always say they say acai, is it acai? And it's it's whatever you want to call it, as long as I know which one you're talking about. That's all that really matters.
Yeah.
I usually tell people, I'll say it is acai, but it doesn't fucking matter. You can call it the purple one.
Well, it depends.
And I know which one you mean.
Depends on if you want to say it the dumb way Like an idiot, or if you want to say it the smart way.
I'll have the opaline, the opaline. I don't. Is that how you say? Did I say it right? It's like I don't actually don't know. It's the name of a bird. I really don't know.
Everyone gets anxious when ordering, though. It's not everyone, but it's a common thing.
I really think it's a clear. And the other one is like we have all of the ingredients listed, and so like the menu board for
too much information.
It's not that many ingredients though.
God, I'm trying to give these stupid people any reason, Ricky.
Any reason. I'm telling you, it's not just that. It's that people don't read, or they're. I don't know.
I'm not saying I would feel overwhelmed by it, but a lot of slow people might. That's a lot of words to process. You know?
Yeah, you're right.
But that is a factor. Are you reading anything lately? Talking about reading.
Like books?
Yeah.
No. Okay. You fucking nerd.
I just got 2 new books.
Okay.
One I'm really excited about. I think it's called Water for Elephants. And it's about... Okay. It's not about the history of, but it in part tells... It's about like the last circus. Like real circus with elephants. And it's about these carnies and their circus experience. And it's supposed to be really good. And then I got I forget the name of it, but it's considered one of the best World War II books. And it's like a famous book, but it's just got a big swastika on the cover. And it's like one of those books you're like, nah, can't leave the house with this one. But it's like a scholar breakdown of World War II.
Did I ever tell you about the guy? Sorry, this is what I think of when I think of people talking about World War II now. After the fact. I was getting the restaurant set up in the morning one day, and I overheard somebody having he was getting heated. This older disabled man was getting heated about. Not older in the way that like he could have been there kind of thing, but old enough that like he was definitely born way after the fact. And he was saying like what they should have done is
when really, the Blitzkrieg hit Poland, we should have.
Yeah, it's like what the fuck are you even talking about? Like I don't know. It's like it's so
dude. Those old dudes, they study it. They are obsessed because here's the psychology to this. They're obsessed about it because it's the war their fathers were obsessed with. And they want to master that knowledge and know what should have been done because it makes their papas happy.
Mm-hmm. That's
Daddy,
you're probably 100%
Daddy, I could have fought the war so much smarter than these big smart commanders. It's a daddy
big
thing.
Smart soldier boys.
Yeah. Dude, my grandpa, the one I never met, this man drank like a 30-pack every night and smoked 2 to 4 packs of cigarettes a day.
Jesus.
This man was hardcore. 2 pots of coffee minimum. That's like a lot. And that's where I get some of my shit from for sure. But when he was 17, he joined, I assume it would be Air Force, but he joined when he was 17 for World War II, and he was flying over Germany, and his whole job was to drop bombs. So when he's 17, he's dropping thousands of bombs. Like that's fucked. Like that you have to deal with, and that's like one of the most, when you look at our history of war, that's probably like the most justifiable or like least shitty war to have been involved in, right? But just knowing you still killed a ton of innocent people, even if what you did was more just than not, it's all for debate, right? But probably good. We dropped bombs on Germany, but you still know you killed a lot of innocent people.
Oh, yeah.
And you're 17?
You're 17.
And you got to come home and try to start a life, and like you have a family and shit, and you have like, that you got a lot of
You're already married.
Yeah. Like that's wild, man. I really wish I met him.
When I was 17, the biggest choice I had to make during the day was, do I go to algebra today, or do I smoke another blunt and go to McDonald's before school?
You're funny, man.
that was my 17.
Well, I think we have some important things to reflect on after this. After another mentally stimulating episode. But I do really want to find the right psych idea. Because I've been listening to so much stuff lately, debating psych stuff, but I want something that, you don't want to, I like how we have conversations that we want to have, not that are just like the right or like a prompted conversation to have. Something we want to talk about.
Something relevant.
Yeah.
That we give a shit about.
Yeah. So keep it in your mind. I'm thinking on it, but we'll find something.
If you do check your Instagram, I did send you a couple pictures of the menus in question.
Okay. Well, let the Goose give this a quick gander before we get out of here. Pretty curious what Mother Goose is gonna find.
I seriously, I don't understand.
Honestly, this is like super clean. Who did this? Just curious.
My boss.
He's good.
Yeah.
I actually really like the art. What I would say though is the formatting could be better.
How would you do it different?
I mean, I see it how you do, but I see how it's not the first thing I see. Like it might take
but you're saying so if you were to take maybe 20 extra seconds,
yeah,
and you look at it, then you can figure it out.
Yes, but I think when you couple that with people's general lack of confidence and ordering anxiety, they look at it.
Did you say confidence or competence?
Both, but I said confidence. I think it really is a confidence thing more than anything. But they see it in their brain can figure it out, but they have a person looking at them asking what they want, and they're like, sorry, I'm just not smart. What does this mean? And then they ask a bunch of stupid questions.
I'm all down. Ask questions. You don't have to, just because you walk into the place of business or you walk up to the people that work there have acknowledged your existence, that doesn't mean you need to order right away. Please, on behalf of everyone who works in a food industry, especially a counter service operation, whether you're a barista, whatever, take your time, look at the menu, figure out what you want before we make you something, and then you decide that you didn't realize what you were ordering.
No,
and we have to make you something else.
If you're at the front of the line, you're supposed to order right away.
Well, if you're at the front of the line,
they're supposed to stand to the side, figure out what they want.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah. Don't get in line until you know what you want. Number one.
No. But those
because then you're adding, because I get that anxiety of like, oh fuck, I don't know what I want yet, and I'm getting to the front of the line.
But people are like penguins.
You got in the line,
but they're like stupid penguins. They feel like they have to get in line. They're ready. You could be at the front of that line at the register, stabbing each person in the face when they get to the end of that line, and they're still gonna line up. Right.
That might not be true, but I'm down to test it out.
Hey, we'll make it work.
What can I get for you today?
Next.
I'll take a.
All right, let's get out of here.
All right. Thanks again for everybody for listening. Thank you to Approaching Human for the use of his music. You can find his work on SoundCloud at Approaching-Human.
Thanks, John.
Make sure to check out the show page at Trashcats Trashcast on Instagram for news and arts from the show. Also, check out Facebook for the memes.
Yeah, you guys have been really cool lately. The people who are sticking with us through our controversial moments.
Yeah, this is our kind of retrograde into madness, and then we're going to form a chrysalis and emerge as a beautiful butterfly.
Yeah, we're about to get so popular, and you guys have been with us through the thick and thin, and we're going to the moon with you at our side, so thank you for listening. I forget what I say. No shouts out to nobody. because fuck everyone else. And if you want to check out my art, it's on Instagram at Skyzix, SKYZICX, and I think that's it. We'll have a little episode for next week.
There will be an episode next week. That's going to be all for us today. Stay classy, eat trashy.
Go fast, eat trash.